I think we've got another caller on. Come on into the room, caller.
Hi, this is Dave Spence. I'm a candidate for the Republican nomination for governor.
Dave Spence, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm glad to hear you on this morning.
I'm happy to be here. I'm about mid-first, so Mike, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hey, I want to, Dave, I want to kind of do a couple of quick housekeeping things. How can folks reach you after they've had a chance to hear you this morning?
Well, we have our website, pretty catchy name, SpenceForGovernor.com.
Okay.
And if you follow Twitter, it's at Spence for Mo.
Got it.
So,
Spence.
and we post a lot, and we're very active on it, and also Facebook. We're on there as well, and you can get to the Facebook through the website.
Okay, great. One of the things that we promote here is that people do their homework and their due diligence, and one of the things that I like to do is make sure that everybody is, going out there and doing their own homework and research to figure out where a candidate stands on different things. So, giving them the ability to go to a website like SpenceForGovernor.com is important because it lets them go out there and see where you stand on specific issues.
And those who haven't been to the spelling bee, it's SPENCE.
There you go. SPENCE 4 FOR, right? Not the number.
Yep.
Okay,
right.
so it's SP
For governor.
Yeah, for governor. SPENCE for governor.com.
Correct.
Make sure you're out there, folks, and doing that because that's important for you. And again, after this interview and after you've done your due diligence, if Dave is the right guy for you, then get out there, support him financially if you've got the wherewithal to do that. And if you don't have the wherewithal to do that, support him in other ways. You can lick stamps or stuff envelopes, invite him into your church for an opportunity for him to talk to the congregation, hold a fundraiser in your backyard. I don't care what you do as long as you take some action because sitting idly as a couch potato does nothing for him, for you, or for us.
Right. This is not the cycle to be a couch potato.
Yeah, absolutely. If ever there was a cycle not to be a couch potato, folks, this is it.
Right. This is a call to action right now.
Absolutely. So, all right, you're running for governor.
I am.
We all know who the current governor is, and so I want to hear a little bit about why you're the right guy for the job.
Well, let me take it back. I if you would have told me a year ago I would be doing this, I would have said you're crazy. But let me kind of take you how I went through the whole process and what my background is. And
sure.
Just let me go a little bit. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we can start doing a deeper dive. I'm a seventh-generation Missourian. My family came in, settled in the lead belt in the early 1800s, and eventually my parents grew up and met in South St. Louis, Southwest High School in the city. And I have two older sisters. I'm 54, and I've been went to Mizzou. I lived in St. Louis most of my life, although I did live a little bit in Jackson, Missouri, and also a little bit in Kansas City. Went to Mizzou, so I have friends all over the state. I came out of school, went into our family business, which was an injection molding of plastics business, and there's probably some in your listening area. And our family business went out of business in 1984, and due to a 18% interest rates and some unforeseen circumstances. So I got a lot of school of hard knocks right out of school. And my dad's house was sold on the courthouse steps to a personal guarantee, and so I found myself starting over. And I found a little small plastics company for sale in North St. Louis that was making plastic pumps for pharmaceutical companies. Not very well, and they were not making any money, but I saw some potential, and so I lobbed in an offer. 12 banks turned me down, and in February of 1985, the 13th bank gave me a loan, and that was the start of my American dream. And so from that little seedling, took it from, again, 15 employees and $350,000 in sales to over $200 million in sales with 800 employees through hard work and sacrifice and taking calculated risks and having sleepless nights, passing up paychecks, and doing all the things that business owners maybe don't get enough credit for. So when I got out, I did this. I sold part of the company in 2005, sold pretty much the rest of the company in September of 10. And based upon my family experience, I thought it was a good idea to take some chips off the table when it made sense. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of personal risk. We were one bad decision away from, losing everything, even though the company was doing well. It was a very capital-intensive business.
Well, anybody who's in business knows that that's a daily decision.
It is, and also, when you look at it, when you cast the net of 800 employees plus dependents plus, suppliers and people that depended on people making good decisions at my company, which is Alpha Packaging, you were the mayor of a small town, And really, if you think about it, there's about 5,000 lives you affected.
Sure.
And so I thought, the company had grown, and it just made sense for my family. It made sense for me. I've been doing it for close to 27 years, and there's never. I just don't think you're destined to do something for the rest of your life, unlike some career politicians. And so I decided to do that, and I was I did kind of going through what I was going to do next in life, and I have 4 kids, and 14 to 20, and I started looking at life through their eyes a little bit more, because as our country gets more and more screwed up, I said, what are they going to inherit? What are they going to go into? What's the job prospects? And I have 2 kids going away out of state to school in universities, and I thought, they're not coming back. They're not coming back to Missouri because there aren't enough opportunities.
Yeah.
And I thought, how sad is that? And when you do a deep dive and you start, as they say, peel back the onion, all of a sudden you realize we're 50th in job creation. We're 49th in higher education funding. We're 47th in K through 12 funding. 1 in 6 Missourians is on food stamps. We're 48th out of 50 states the last 10 years in our GDP growth. And you start looking at it and you're saying, what happened? How did the cupboards get so bare?
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you say, well, we've had career politicians. We've had people who've never been in the real world. We've had people making decisions for people in the real world that don't have the same situations. They don't have the same medical. They don't have the same pensions.
Their knowledge is academic, not practical.
Right. And so I looked at it and said, well, who's going to be the next leader that can take us to Missouri out of this malaise and get it going? Because we have a lot of potential. We have, good interstates. We have good industries. Like in your area, it's a lot of logging and timber industry. We have, a lot of good, we have a $14 billion ag industry. We have good life sciences, plant sciences, veterinary up in northwest Missouri. We have good natural resources. We have rivers. We have the second and third largest rail centers in Kansas City and St. Louis. And you look at that and you say, what are we doing with it? And, it turns out we're really not doing much, or we're not doing enough, let me say that. And I thought, I heard Chris Christie, as governor of New Jersey, speak, and I thought, golly, he's just so refreshingly honest. And he does it with a kind of a sense of humor, but he gets things done. And I thought, well, we are overdue in our state for someone like that.
Yeah.
And so I heard him, and at a fundraiser in St. Louis, and I traveled, and something was gnawing at me the next week, and I thought, I came home after a bad St. Louis Rams game. There were a lot of them this year. And I came home, and I said to my wife, Susie, and kids, I said, I'm going to run for governor. I said, it's just time somebody stood up and told the truth and be honest, and just good news or bad news, tell the truth and be a true leader. And, with the Republican-led House and Senate, it's just they're starving for a leader in the governor's office, and they're not getting it. And then the more I heard about the leadership of Jay Nixon, or lack thereof, it made me nauseous.
Sure.
And so I just thought, what? It is time for somebody to stand up who has real-world experience, who is tough but fair, and who has a grasp of the issues to step in and straighten this out.
Well,
I decided to do it, and you can't squawk about it unless you're willing to raise your hand.
Exactly. Dave, I'm going to just interrupt this for a minute while we do a quick commercial break. This is radio, and, of course, capitalism rules the day here. So we're going to take a break. Folks, we've got Dave Spence, who's running for governor, with us on the phone this morning, and we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from him a little bit more about some of the situations here in the state. 107.1 The Point. We're blasting out a birch tree in West Plains, and we have a very, very good guest with us this morning, who is Dave Spence, who's running for governor. And so, Dave, we've got you on this morning to kind of tell us a little bit about what some of the things that you see that you can do to make changes here in our state. Governorship right now is going to be a critical position for us because we are number 50 out of 50 states for jobs.
Yeah, some people would argue at 49, but it's still not good.
49, 50, it's all the same as far as I'm concerned. What are we behind, Guam or Puerto Rico or something? I mean, come on.
I think the Virgin Islands needs to come in. We'll look better.
There you go. So, tell us a little bit about what the top 5 hot buttons that you stand on.
Well, I think the first 3 are jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Yeah.
I've been to all 114 counties. And I just finished that last week, and I'm really proud of it. It was a long haul. But,
when are you coming back down here to Howell County?
I was just there for a little fundraiser on the square just the other day, and I will certainly be back. For some reason, West Plains is one of those places that I seem to get a lot. But I will definitely be down there, and I've been to all of your listening audience. I've been to every one of those counties. And
sure.
Now that I've hit all 114, I will now double back where it makes sense, and I'd say it's been exciting. It's even if you're seventh generation Missourian, there's no matter who you are, there's probably parts of the state that you've not seen, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of work. Boy, it's certainly hot this past week, and I'm not a farmer, but I certainly have a newfound empathy for farmers, and certainly the lack of rain.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, but it was fun. You do a deep dive in the state, and you go into different areas, and people are people at the end of the day. If
Sure.
you talk with them versus at them, there's no. And people are starving for leadership in this state. I think they're scrambling. There's despair in their eyes. They're worried about how they're going to pay their bills. But they're worried about if their kids and grandkids are going to have the same lifestyle that we have. And to me, we've got such lack of leadership in the governor's office, and he's going down a path that's all about him. And it's not for 5.9 million Missourians, and that's really what I want to do.
Right.
I just really feel like this is the time for someone like myself. If it wasn't me, then somebody should have raised their hand to take charge, show leadership. Whether you have an R, a D, or an I behind your name, it's time to start talking. It's time to start picking up the can versus kicking it down the road on the issues of like education, jobs, the economy, getting our state righted as far as being competitive with our neighboring states. It's time to stop making excuses for some of the failing school districts. It's time to look at what we do well in Missouri and do more of it. If you really think about it, we're not going to lead the nation in whale watching or something, but what we can, what we can do, yeah, we could, new thing. And I don't think we have the resources to get into a bidding auction. Let's just make up something. Let's say BMW wants to open up a Midwest plant. I don't know if we have I don't really necessarily like corporate welfare, and nor do we have the resources to get into that game. So
Right.
What we need to do is concentrate on what we do well, which in your area is logging, which in, cattle, we're number 3. Row crops.
Right.
We're very, very diverse. And, again, all those attributes I said earlier of the rail, the interstates, the people, the population centers, the higher education we have, those are all great attributes. And we need to do more with them. And